but he can sing, and he wants the whole club to sing with him a victory song today.
And the best thing about Browning Nagel is that he's one of these kids that has that arm that all coaches hope for. The players' nickname for him is Nuke, nuclear arm. He can make up for a lot of mistakes. You know, get the ball in when you don't have a lot of time. He's back in the lineup.
Tony Zendejas to kick it off. The Jets have won the toss, will receive. McMillan and Mathis are deep, and it's Terrence Mathis. Tripped up as he crosses the 20-yard line. And here comes Browning Nagel, the second-year man out of Louisville. And with him, his offensive line. Criswell, Cadigan, Sweeney, White, and the veteran Irv Eatman. Brad Baxter and Blair Thomas open in the backfield with Al Toon and Rob Moore, the wideouts. Mark Boyer, the tight end. They'll bring in Troy Sadowski when they go to the double tight end, and that's anticipating a running attack early from the Jets. And they come out with the double tight end.
That's just what I was going to say. Sadowski in the lineup.
Jets and Nagel from the 23.
Bombo.
And Nagel picks it up and actually gains 6-7 yards out to the 30-yard line before Gerald Robinson can wrap him up, and that's the problem, that snap, and it's a little different snap when the game begins than that practice snap.
Yeah, and Dick, Browning Nagel told us that he moves his hands a little bit, put him a little farther underneath the rear end of Jim Sweeney. Last week they were talking about a complete game plan where Nagel would be in shotgun, but that's a shaky start again for Browning Nagel.
But he picks up 8 yards on the ad lib. Nagel guns the ball deflected and out of bounds, intended for Al Toon, and one of the Rams, Roman Pfeiffer, able to get a mitt on it and deflect it wide. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Here's the defense for Los Angeles. Gerald Robinson, 2 rookies in the middle of that defensive tackle. Boutte and Gilbert, the number 1 pick Gilbert out of Pittsburgh. Joe Hawkins starting only his 4th game as a Ram. Talented linebackers led by Kevin Green, and there's the back 4. Anthony Q. Newman, a man to watch, and in the nickel where they bring in 2 extra backs, the rookie from Pitt, Steve Israel, and Pat Carroll, former Notre Dame player, have come in, the deep secondary. 3rd and 2. Play action. Nagel wide open is Al Toon, and he has a first down at the 46-yard line, his 492nd career catch.
Dick, I think one of the things you'll see the Jets do today is they'll spend a lot of time at the line of scrimmage allowing Browning Nagel to identify the defense. The Rams are almost totally zoned, and they want Browning Nagel to identify which way the zone is rotating. That time Al Toon read it perfectly, hooked up for a nice 16-yard gain.
He's now caught a pass in 96 consecutive games. Robert Bailey made the tackle. He's playing for the injured Todd Light. First down at the 46 after a 16-yard pass play. This time to give is to Blair Thomas, and he busts loose to the 39 of Los Angeles before Michael Stewart can make the tackle. Make that Brad Baxter up the middle.
One of the things the Jets like to do, Dick, is they run this zone blocking. You'll see the offensive linemen all favored to the right. The running back's responsibility, get up into that hole, read helmets. When you see friendly helmets, those green helmets, you cut back, and cutbacks against this Ram defense work.
15 yards for Baxter, so 16 on the pass play, and then 15 on the run. First down at the Los Angeles 39. It's Blair Thomas, and he weaves his way to the 27-yard line, and another Jets first down. So run they are. Roman Pfeiffer made the tackle.
A lot of credit to the front 3 for the New York Jets. Sweeney does an excellent job. Again, you see that zone blocking and the cutback by Blair Thomas. An absolute key to this Jet running game.
Thomas in his 3rd year, drafted number 1 out of Penn State, led the Jets the last 2 years in rushing and had 170 yards in the first 3 games. That's the best for the Jets.
Again, Dick, a lot of time at the line of scrimmage to identify the defense here by the Jets.
Nagel handing off to Brad Baxter, and the fullback's all the way to the 10 to the 9-yard line. It's first and goal for the Jets, eating up big chunks on the ground.
Baxter does an excellent job of avoiding this first tackle. Watch 90 Gilbert. 66 does an excellent job. He jumps back inside of him. Cadigan just takes him where he wants to go. That's two great cuts by Brad Baxter for big yardage right up the middle of this Ram defense.
Chuck Knox, his team has not stopped the run that well. They spot the ball just on the 10-yard line. So the full 10 yards for Nagel. An impressive opening drive. Blair Thomas caught in the backfield and dropped. Securing the tackle was Gerald Robinson. A loss of 4 on the play.
I would bet that Nagel called the wrong audible here. You see the line of the Rams slanting right, and he runs the ball to the right. The Jets' choice is try to figure out from alignment which way the defense is going to slant, run the other way.
Second and goal from the 14. It was Mark Boutte, the rookie from LSU, that got an early piece of the ball carrier to slow him down. Set up that 4-yard deficit. Look how deep Blair Thomas is. Takes the handoff, breaks one tackle, but fights for just a couple to the 12-yard line as the Rams defense storming. Pfeiffer, Robinson collaborating on the tackle with Michael Stewart and Larry Kelm there as well.
This is called a sprint draw, and you see extra defensive backs coming in here for the Rams, but watch Browning-Nagel roll out slightly to his right, hand it to Thomas. Excellent job by a number of people. Peel, 95, 90 Gilbert right there. We're not fooled by the draw, so now let's face a third and goal from what? Just outside the 10, Dick?
12-yard line. Out of the shotgun is Nagel. Underneath the tune, stumbles and is stopped at the 1-yard line. So 4th and goal for Coslett. You know him well. You played with him with the Bengals. Will he go for it on 4th and goal from the 1?
He just signified the 3-point field goal try. Yeah, on the road, I think it's a good choice. But, again, this is a missed opportunity for the New York Jets. They drive the ball right down the field. They're looking for touchdowns when you drive the ball that well. They have to settle for 3. It's points, but it's certainly not what you want, Dick.
Starofsky is 2 for 6 after he beat out Raul Alegre in the preseason, and a disappointing start for him.
This is shorter than an extra point.
19 yards. And it just does go through. That was not a gimme by any means. So the Jets, impressive drive to the 1 and settle for the short 3. Everett ready to go to work for the Rams as they anticipate the upcoming kickoff. The Jets score for the first time this year on an opening drive. 75 yards to the Ram 1-yard line, where Starofsky chips one in from 19. 3-0.
Dick, we talked about ball control. Look at that 6 minutes, too. Very big key for the Jets to be successful.
That's Vernon Turner with rookie Todd Kinchin, 2 men deep for the Rams. High end over end toward the rookie from LSU, Kinchin at the 5. And the younger brother of Brian Kinchin, the tight end for the Cleveland Browns, is to the 23-yard line. And Jim Everett brings in the Rams offense with Gerald Perry, the former Bronco, Newberry, Brostock, Malinchik, and Slater, the ageless veteran in his 17th year on the offensive line for the Rams. Everett with Gary and Delpino as running backs. Flipper Anderson and Henry Ellard outside with Pat Carter blooming as the tight end here. Aaron Cox and Jeff Chadwick come in the 4 wide. From the 22. Everett throws it up and away. Closest man was Delpino. And Everett hits the deck as Scott Merthero was right in his chops.
Dick, very lucky that an intentional grounding was not called there. But, of course, there is a dead spot for the referee. You'll see the referee come into the picture here. He's back there to protect the quarterback, so he's watching the quarterback all the time, not where the ball is thrown. Actually, Jim Everett does get away with one there. Threw the ball away to avoid the sack.
Dennis Bird's penetration denied Everett a chance to look upfield where there was a man open, and nothing there on the first running try for the Rams is Cleveland Gary, who leads Los Angeles with 171 yards in the first 3 games. Gets maybe 1 against this defense. Bird, Mercero, Gunn, and Washington, the front 4. The linebackers, Houston, Kyle Clifton, Mo Lewis, and the secondary of Brim and Hasty, Washington, and Young. And the dime package for the Jets, they bring in McMillan and Marcus Turner along with R.J. Coors. Steve Carroll, the defensive coordinator of the Jets, was in the final running as the Minnesota Vikings head coach, beaten by Dennis Green, as he was for the Stanford job when Green got the collegiate opportunity at the farm. Everett, plenty of time. And dives to the 31, a yard short of a first down. Will bring up 3rd and 1. Brian Washington, the safety man, the tackler for the Jets.
I think that's one of the problems the Rams have faced here. They've come up with these 3rd and 10 situations so often in the beginning part of this season, and there are very few offenses that can function well at 3rd and 10. There, Everett has to run, can't convert. They got to punt the ball away.
So he comes up a yard shy, and on 4th and 1, Don Bracken, averaging 44, will kick it to Rob Carpenter, the former Syracuse star. He stands at the Jets' 28. Bracken, a wobbly kick. Takes a Ram bounce, and finally fielded by Carpenter at the 22. And out of bounds at the 28-yard line. There is a flag down. Check the penalty, and holding is the preliminary signal given by Jerry Mark Bright against the Rams. And it appears Bruce Coslett will say kick it over again.
Yeah, he's a former special teamer when he played in the NFL, so he knows what it's like to run 2 40-yard sprints covering a punt.
Did he ever start a game with the Bengals in his 8 years?
He started a few.
Holding number 26. Offense, 10-yard penalty, 4th down.
He'll hate me for telling this story, but he started 1. It was against the New York Jets.
You were sick, or what happened?
I had the flu. He started 1. He caught a long pass against the New York Jets, went through the end zone, across the tracks, up the steps in the stadium on concrete, slipped, and cracked his kneecap and was out for the season.
Didn't have the sense to do a dance in the end zone. I ran right up into the crowd.
Well, he wanted to give the ball to somebody in the crowd and paid for it with a broken kneecap.
Well, Bracken to kick again. He'll deliver from around the 10. Carpenter moves up to his own 40. Looks as if the Jets have the return on. They rush only 2 men. Wobbly kick. Carpenter at the 40. And slips down and looks as if he might have some yardage at the 43-yard line. Roman Pfeiffer there for the stop. 38-yard punt, 3 yards on the return. And we have a timeout, 6:50 left in the first. Lots of empty seats. The beaches must be full today. Expected 50,000. It looks as if maybe 40,000 at the Big A. Jets lead 3-0. Start from the 43. Give this to Blair Thompson. And running at will in the middle of the field are the Jets. They're all the way to the 44. Another first down pickup of 13 yards.
Dick, this is nothing special, nothing spectacular at all by the Jets. A lot of it is just that first step for position by the offensive lineman. They try to influence these guys out. Then it's the running back's responsibility to read helmets. It is not a sophisticated play, but it really comes from just familiarization running back to offensive linemen, and they're ripping through that Ram defense.
From the 44 of Los Angeles, Nagel. Completes to Chris Burkett, and Burkett is toppled at the 36-yard line, another 8-yard gain.
And that is going to be a big matchup today. You see Henley, these cornerbacks for the Los Angeles Rams, all under 5'10". The receivers for the New York Jets, all over 6'3". These receivers make themselves big. Turn around there. Nice targets for Browning Nagel. Easy completion.
Yeah, there's the mismatch. If it were basketball, you'd say the team in green going to get all the rebounds. 2nd and 2. With Boyer, the tight end, in motion. The give to Thomas. Spins out of one tackle and then falls at the 37, a loss of a yard. And Sean Gilbert, who on the play previously was in the face of Nagel as he threw the ball, and it's Gilbert penetrating to get the ball carrier on this one.
What did he tell us yesterday in our conversation? He said something like, you know, when I was in college, it was just strength and speed. But now it takes technique and brains. Botte hits him first, 96, and then Sean Gilbert there. I think the realization by Sean Gilbert that you just can't play defensive tackle because you're strong is a very good realization early.
He's 6'4" and 315. Number 90, Gilbert, in the middle of that Ram defense. Knocks over another Cortez Kennedy. 3rd down and 3 for Nagel. Outside and too tall for Rob Moore, and the Rams defense is held.
That was thrown too quickly. There was no particular rush to get the ball out to Moore. That's the first time I've seen Nagel really rush one there. He had plenty of protection on that play action fake. Good influence. I think Bruce is telling him, hey, you got time. No reason to chuck it out there that quickly.
Louis Aguiar comes in to punt it. He's averaging 40 and a half on this young season with a career long of 65. That's Vernon Turner at the other end. Played for Carson Newman. Low snap and a good fielding job by Aguiar, who aims for the near corner. And it just does skip by the Jets downfield. They had a chance to down it, Chris Burkett. So the Rams take over on the touchback at the 20 with 4 minutes and 25 seconds left in the first quarter. Golf. And might have been a pretty good infielder the way he scooped this one off the grass. Saved a disaster and very nearly dropped that one inside the 5.
Dick, I think in today's NFL, some of these punters are not given their just due for their athletic prowess. Some are very good. Aguiar, obviously one of them.
Jets 3, Rams nothing. L.A. second possession from their own 20. Fake to Gary, and Everett goes down the middle. Has a man, Henry Allard, at the 44-yard line, and the all-time Ram receiver has his 492nd catch. Isn't that something? Henry Allard and Al Toon both have 492 career catches.
Both have been career deep threats, too. This is a nice, deep crossing pattern. What the Jets like to do is a lot of man-to-man coverage, and the man in coverage here is Mike Brim, 43. Allard, who has been almost absent from the Rams passing game here of late, makes a nice catch. Everett with good protection. Bird a little late on the hit there.
Biggest gain for the Rams so far, 24 yards. Cleveland Gary with a hole, and he's into Jet territory. And folks to a first down at the 46. Mo Lewis and others bring him down. Cleveland Gary, they had high hopes for him. Picked him in the first round 3 years ago out of Miami of Florida.
One of the Rams' best offensive linemen back at left guard. Tom Newberry last year played center, now back at his natural position. And he is one of the game's great drive blockers. You see the hit there on Kyle Clifton, 59, really clears the hole for Cleveland Gary to get up in there.
Dennis Bird in on the tackle and might have injured a foot or ankle on the play. It is a first down for the Rams just outside the Jets' 45.
Now, I asked Jim Everett, Ernie Zampese is the offensive coordinator here at Los Angeles. I asked him how much leeway he has at the line of scrimmage, because so much of today's game is played right at the line of scrimmage. He said virtually none.
That was surprising.
Yes, very surprising.
9 and 26 since that NFC Championship game at San Francisco in '89. Gary to the 40-yard line. They've won only 5 home games since '89. Lewis and Brian Washington, the safety man, make the tackle on Gary after a 5-yard pickup.
You can see Washington coming up here. It looks like he almost reading their playbook, expecting the run. Now Clifton, 59 in there, and then Washington assists on the tackle along with Mo Lewis, 57. But Rams gaining yards in the middle of this Jet defense, Dick.
Gary, the lone running back behind Everett. Ellard right, Anderson left. Go with the 2 tight ends. Johnson bookends left and Carter on the right side. Give to Gary, and the Jets waiting. No gain. Scott Mercereau did not allow a hole. and had plenty of help plugging it from the linebacker position was Kyle Clifton.
Pete Carroll's defense, that's Bruce Coslet, the head coach. Pete Carroll's defense is a very aggressive defense. Told us last night he wants to capture the line of scrimmage. He wants pressure on the offensive team in every gap possible. And Pete Carroll is somebody who has put this package together along with man-to-man coverage behind it. It's a fun defense to play because you can wreak havoc as a defensive coordinator and coach. Look at the points there. What a difference, huh?
Rams have only one touchdown in 3 games in the first half. 3rd and 5. Del Pino, no catch. Robert Del Pino, usually a reliable receiver. They like to go to him in 3rd down out of the backfield, and the Rams stall at the 35.
Great hit by Lonnie Young, 31. Del Pino never hangs onto the football, never really gets a good grip on it. Well thrown by Everett, dropped.
And so Donald Bracken will come in. Rob Carpenter at the 10-yard line on 4th and 5. Bracken, formerly University of Michigan, set the Rose Bowl record, still intact for the longest punt ever. 73 yards against Washington. And looking for a possible 5-yard penalty in a 1st down. And Pat Carroll of the Rams was the man guilty of the move, maybe trying to induce a penalty from the Jets.
I'm not sure 5 yards makes any difference here to Bracken, but it's a mistake you certainly hope a young man like Terrell doesn't make, being drawn offside by defensive players faking at the line of scrimmage.
Oh, Bracken with some extra room with which to work. Jets loading up the center as they go after him. Good kick. And it's batted back to the 6-yard line. A good job by the Rams. Sammy Lilly just signed this past week. 39 yards. And the Jets will have to play it from the 6-yard line.
Actually, the Jets get a break here. Lilly touches that ball at about the 1-yard line. Watch what happens. He makes contact with it down there, but then he finally knocks it out of bounds at the 6. So it's a big help to the New York Jets.
Of 7 Rams that have been picked up since the 47-man roster was set. Chuck Knox sending out a message that he's not content at all with the club that started this season. 7 new faces since the opening 47-man roster.
And very few jobs safe on this Los Angeles Rams team.
Jets with a 3-0 lead with 1:20 left in the first quarter. Start from the 6-yard line. Crowd trying to help the defense. Nagel, play action, and he hits Rob Moore out at the 16-yard line, a pickup of 10. Henley on the stop.
Dick, that's carrying the play action just one step further. It's run action. It's called Rambo by the New York Jets, and watch how they carry this out. Blair Thomas, when he gets to the line of scrimmage, is hit by the little middle linebacker. Nagel still has the ball, and there's that nuclear arm. Right hash, left side, near side throw on a line.
Now, you don't want one floating out there. Henley had good coverage. Gets 11 yards officially on the throw. 1st down. And they give to Baxter, who smothered at the 20-yard line after a gain of 3. Gilbert and others in on the stop. The Rams have not been able to stop the opponent's rushing game in the first 3 contests of this season, allowing 161 yards. That's the worst defense against the run in the NFL. And thus far today, the Jets have averaged 7 yards plus per carry. Rams' first 3 games, losses to Buffalo and Miami, and they beat New England here 14-0. Final seconds of the opening quarter, and apparently that will be the last play. After 1, it's the New York Jets 3, the Los Angeles Rams 0. Go around with the Los Angeles Rams, perhaps Juniata College of Pennsylvania's most famous athlete, and coached as an assistant with the Jets for 2 years when the quarterback was Joe Namath, and his responsibility was the lineman protecting Broadway Joe.
Oh, they did a good job protecting Broadway Joe, too.
We open the second quarter, 2nd down and 7. Jets at their own 20-yard line, and Nagel fires to the sideline just off the fingertips of Toon. So Nagel is 4 for 7, 45 yards.
Even though that's one of the shortest passes that is thrown in the NFL, may be the most difficult because it requires the most movement by the quarterback. 3-step drop, right-handed quarterback got to turn his hips properly and fire it out to the flat. You can see that Al Toon and his receiving fellows have had their share of drops. But that's a tough completion for just 5 yards.
Ran through 6 DBs on 3rd and 7. Blair Thomas in motion. They're looking for Thomas, and they hit him. And that's going to be good enough for a first down at the 28-yard line. Pat Terrell and Steve Israel over there for the tackle. Let's see where Jerry Markbright spots it, just across the 28, first down.
You're going to see Blair Thomas come in motion with all this zone coverage. He just swings out here in the flat. Nice pickup by Irv Eatman on Kevin Green for pass protection. Just goes far enough for the completion. First down, drive continues.
Freeman McNeil now the lone back behind Nagel. He's going to go long downfield for Rob Moore. Moore had beaten Robert Bailey.
Strangely, one of Browning Nagel's greatest attributes, the Jet coaching staff believes, is his ability to make the completions long down the field. For a young man who has a very strong arm, has yet to really learn a touch downfield. He's normally very accurate and is hoping, oh, Rob, grow arms a little longer, will you please?
Threw that one 55 yards, and it was just a flick of the wrist, almost like an infielder, which he was drafted as a pitcher third baseman by the California Angels. Might have played in this stadium in another sport. Flag goes down as Nagel skips one out to the intended receiver, Terrence Mathis. Gerald Robinson in on Nagel.
Once you see him throw that one, goodness.
And he's got the major league arm, doesn't he? Holding against the Jets.
Rams came with a stunt, and if you're going to have holding,
number 66, offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Dave Cadigan, the culprit, one of 13 Jets playing back in their home area from Southern California in their youth.
You can see what they're trying to do here is get people in the face of Browning Nagel. And holding will happen when you have stunts like that, because generally you get people out of position. 70, Hawkins does make contact with Browning Nagel, but again, a killing penalty. It's second down 20.
Cadigan has had his trouble with injuries and now having trouble with that yellow flag. Second down and 20. Quick into the flat, and a great job by Toon. He was down, however, at the 24-yard line, and that one was very close to going 6 for the Rams.
That was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Toon is still able to concentrate on the football.
A music man.
Again, off the hand of that's a defensive back, 26. Anthony Newman out there. Was he down? I mean, I don't know that his knee was down there. That's a good saving catch by Al Toon.
A loss of 4 on the play. Check that the scoreboard is wrong. It's a gain of 6. The throw incomplete off the fingertips of Rob Moore. Steve Israel on the coverage, and the Jets drive stalls. A 10-yard holding penalty, a key there. And in comes the punting unit. the other end as Aguiar set for his third punt. Turner at the Ram 30 to match the number on his blue and gold. Another low snap. And Aguiar lines one out of there. Turner to the 37-yard line, a 49-yard punt, 10 yards on the return. A timeout with 2 minutes gone in the second quarter. You'll see them.
They're also sitting in the middle of that bench.
As the Rams take over, and a fumble. And the New York Jets appear to have it at the 44-yard line as Del Pino coughed it up. New York has the first turnover.
Dick, that did not appear to be heavy contact that got that ball loose. It's James Hasty who comes out of the bottom of the pile with it.
But it appeared to be Dennis Byrd who made the tackle and charted free.
When Del Pino comes through the line of scrimmage, there is an arm that comes in there, but there's not really big contact. That just slips out of his arm. Joe Kelly, 58, tries to get it. Hasty, the corner, comes in. First turnover in favor of the New York Jets again. He makes the right cut, but it looks like Bird's hand does make contact with the football.
So the Jets with a break start at the Rams 44. And a give to Pat Chafee, the youngster from Oregon State, down to the 36-yard line, and a good pickup for Chafee, who's carried the ball only 3 times all year. And Del Pino, a reliable player, and when you're running by committee, you have 4 players at running back. You don't want to let those steely blue eyes of Chuck Knox see you leave the ball on the ground.
Yeah, there's a lot of doors opening out on this Los Angeles Ram team. The waiver wire is going to be filled with ex-Los Angeles Rams this year.
Blair Thomas now the running back on second and short. Going with the 2 tight ends, the Jets. And Thomas finding a hole, slices inside the 30 for Roman Pfeiffer and company. And Al Toon doing a good job of helping with a block.
I think Bruce Coslet last night was saying that he didn't have to be tough on his players because they were tough on themselves. And Al Toon is one of those guys. Again, what you want to do is you want to see the steps of these offensive linemen and the cutback by the running back. It's by design. They read helmets. They look for that little hole in the defense. There you see it. And Al Toon, 88, with an excellent block. That's how you make those 6-yard gains turn into 15-yard gains.
After the fumble recovery, and 3 tight ends in the game now as Thomas gets short yardage to the 26. Roman Pfeiffer playing a big game at outside linebacker, named after a famous Ram of the late 60s and 70s, the strong-arm quarterback from North Carolina State, Roman Gabriel. Thomas goes out, and Baxter, who has been rested the last 2 series, in.
I think you'll see a certain amount of shuffling as you look at Thomas's numbers here because of the heat on the field here in Anaheim. I want to try to keep those running backs fresh, and it is, to say the least, warm here today.
Burkett and Rob Moore to the right, Toon to the left on 2nd and 8. Quick pop outside to Rob Moore is good for short yardage. Robert Bailey on the cover. That'll be spotted at the 20 and bring up 3rd and a long yard.
Again, that ball thrown down into the ground, and part of putting a young quarterback like Browning Nagel in there, last year he had but 2 pass attempts. It's just part of the ups and downs you're going to suffer with a young man who is taken over as a starting quarterback. He's going to miss some completions. He's going to make receivers get down on the ground to make the completions. Coslet willing to put up with that.
Interesting formation. It's 3rd and a very short 2, 4 wide receivers. And then the fake goes to Freeman McNeil. A flag down as McNeil is to the 10-yard line. Will it count? So they go out of the shotgun with a 4 wide, and they snap the ball to the up-back Freeman McNeil. It's going to cost them 10 the other way.
You can see Bruce Coslet on the sideline shaking his head. Signals regular personnel back into the football game.
Holding number 69, offense. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Jeff Criswell from Graceland of Iowa.
Here's Criswell. They run the draw trap, and he gets caught on the hold. It's an excellent design, but it's on Pfeiffer, 58. He's grabbing his leg. Well, I don't know. The umpire.
I've seen worse.
Yeah, I've seen a lot worse.
3rd and a short 12. Nagel again, taking plenty of time. Free snap, checks the defense, maybe changing the play. Michael Stewart had a hand on it for the Rams. That brings up 4th and 12.
Rams came with a 7 defensive back set. A little roll by Nagel, and Browning Nagel was locked on the one receiver. Did not take his eyes off the primary receiver. That's another thing that you're just going to have to suffer with a young quarterback. It looked like that Chappie was open.
So leading 3-0. Here's Starowski trying a 47-yarder. Aguiar to hold. And it is no good. He hooks it to the left. So Starowski now 3 for 7 on the season, and Bruce Coslet's team cannot take advantage of the fumble recovery in Rams territory. And with 9 minutes left in the first half, it remains 3-zip. After the missed field goal, the Rams take over at the 30-yard line, trailing 3-0, 9:03 left in the first half. Jim Everett to Del Pino, hit immediately by Lonnie Young, short yardage.
Nice touch, too. He made the fumble, come back, first reception, Robert Del Pino. Get him right back in the game.
In case you're just joining us at Anaheim Stadium, where it's nearly 100 degrees down on the playing field, the Jets have had almost 3-1 in yardage. They took the opening kickoff, marched to the 1-yard line of the Rams, and settled for a short 19-yard field goal. They've held the Rams in check. They've had a fumble recovery, have the Jets. That in part accounts for their possession time advantage, and yet lead only 3-0. 2nd and 6.
Fumble.
And Cleveland Gary trying to ad-lib his way, and what he gets is a big deficit. James Hasty finishes the defensive job, pushing him out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Lonnie Young with the force on the run.
Surprising problem with the exchange here. Brostick and Everett have certainly done this a lot. And Lonnie Young, 31, should make that tackle. Cleveland Gary is a big fullback. And then Joe Kelly, 58. James Hasty finally get him out of bounds.
Loss of 5 on the play.
Another tough down here now. 3rd and 10. Turn the pass rushers loose.
Paul Fraze just made it into the lineup. Everett over the middle. Juggled and dropped. Incomplete. Aaron Cox, the receiver. Brian Washington and Lonnie Young, the safeties, on the pinch.
Well, I know Jim Everett gets an awful lot of criticism, but you can't blame him for this. Here is the late substitution by the Jets to the line of scrimmage. He does get there just as the ball is snapped, and Cox is running the inside route. I think he feels a little pressure there. That ball's put on the money. Cox should catch that one.
Don Bracken to deliver the punt. Flag down, and Bracken with a beautiful spiral. Ralph Carpenter at the 24 fumbles the ball, and the Jets fall on it at the 17. That was there for grabs, although the Rams may have wrestled it away. Let's wait for the official signal. The Jets were all over the ball when it was loose, and they do recover their own mistake at the 17.
Now the flag.
Beautiful kick by Bracken, 47 yards with plenty of height. It is against Los Angeles for illegal procedure, and Bruce Coslett said under the circumstances, we'll let him kick it again.
Yes. That's twice now the Los Angeles Rams have had to punt.
Illegal formation foul. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Kicking team. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Have to have 7 on the line of scrimmage.
Now, see, this is the stuff that drives Chuck Knox nuts. Absolutely nuts. I mean, he's giving the New York Jets another chance here, and Chuck Knox, first and foremost, does not want his opponent with more than one chance. By the way, you suppose Chuck Knox would wear that strap on the back of his sunglasses in Seattle, or is that just kind of Southern California?
It is sunny Southern California.
Okay.
I mean, you don't just say Southern California. You say sunny Southern California.
Okay, fits. That's what you, there it is.
He was here his first head coaching job with the Los Angeles Rams. Replaced Tommy Prothro in the mid-70s, and for 5 straight years his Rams won the NFC West. Bracken, this one not nearly as good a kick, and Carpenter fields it at the 36. 45. And all the way to the 46 of the Rams, and a late flag goes down back at the 40-yard line of the Jets. So Bracken's first kick, a 47-yarder, then the fumble, and the Jets were at the 17. And now if this penalty, unless it's against the Jets, we'll have New York at the 46 of the Rams. But
Illegal block. Number 78 on the return. 10-yard penalty. 1st down. Timeout.
rookie Mario Johnson, the 300-pounder, guilty of the foul. So the Jets will begin at the 32-yard line when we come back. Out here in Anaheim thus far, Jets have landed 3 punches, and the Rams are about at 0. New York takes over at the 32-yard line. Nagel off play action. Down the middle, and an open man, Rob Moore, breaks the tackle. And he's all the way to the Ram 35-yard line before Terrell can get him out of bounds. Michael Stewart unable to make the stop earlier. A 33-yard play.
Excellent pass protection that time by the New York Jets. Again, catching the Los Angeles Rams in a very identifiable deep zone. They throw in front of the free safety. 23 Michael Stewart is the man trying to chase him down. Finally, Sam Lilly gets him out of bounds. Huge pickup. That's just taking advantage of the dead spots in the zone. Excuse me, that's Terrell that takes him out.
Moore with 3 catches, 50 yards. First down at the Rams 35. Snap is in motion. Blair Thomas. Gain of 5 on first down. Larry Kelm will play to Texas A&M. Middle backer makes the stop.
Dick, this last reception you'll watch. Here's the receiver, and watch the drop by everybody. The linebackers here, the catch is right in between them. Good time for Browning Nagel to look around. Little play action fake, holds the linebackers, see the gap. It opens up. Nagel puts it right on the money, and then Moore, big receiver, breaks that tackle.
Thomas to the 20. And another Jets first down as he rumbles for 10 more before Terrell can make the stop.
Boy, there was a great lead block by Brad Baxter. I mean, he stuck his head into the legs of a big defensive lineman. I think it's 93 Eric Hayes, but watch the lead blocker. It is Eric Hayes. Whoa, that is a real hit. Nice job, Baxter.
Under 6 minutes to go first half. Jets trying to add to their 3-0 lead. They've certainly dominated the statistics, but not the scoring. Nagel, nearly 10 more as he goes to Chris Burkett. Burkett helping the officials with a spot. He wants the full 10 and another first down.
Receivers are like that. Nagel having a very good first half. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4 play action fake sets and fires that baby out there. Actually, that's not bad coverage at all by the Ram defender, Robert Bailey. But again, when a quarterback can throw the ball that quickly, I don't know that you can have close enough coverage to stop those completions.
Close enough to measure on the first down pass. And Browning Nagel showing no ill effects from that index finger injury when he had his right. Doesn't need a microphone, Jerry Mark Bright. And couldn't get his finger out of the face mask of the Steeler defender. And last week in an emergency, they had that whole game plan against the 49ers set where he would work out of the shotgun. He said it didn't really bother him throwing, but the snap did serve some pain, and he's been able to handle the pressure today. First down. They could get a first down without a touchdown. Brad Baxter for only 2. Eric Hayes, another pickup by Chuck Knox and the Rams this past week. He played for Knox, did Hayes, at Seattle. 300-pound defensive tackle who has his degree in English literature, a fan of Shakespeare, his favorite Taming of the Shrew. I guess that's a good one if you're responsible for trying to tame the opposing offense. Jets still looking for a rushing TD. Amazing. Oh, a 5-yard line is where Burkett is hit, and that was ever so close for Robert Bailey to go the other way. Bailey, you can just see a little hesitation. Do I try? And only Nagel's arm saved that one from being a Ram touchdown. It got there too quickly for him.
And, of course, when you have an arm like that, in those situations, you're going to fire it out there. You don't use much discretion when you have an arm of that strength.
Third down from the 4-yard line. Nagel. Oh, they tried to use the jump ball play, and they get the penalty. So they put Al Toon with his 6'4" height and great leaping ability against Darrell Henley at 5'9", 7 inches shorter, and just tossed it up. It was almost sending him into the post against the little guy, and they get the foul.
Pass interference, number 20, defense in the end zone.
Now, I remember R.C. Owens doing this for the San Francisco 49ers, the alley-oop play. There was no question what the intention is here. Looks like Bill Laimbeer blocking out for a pass in from the side.
And Henley said, hey, he was using his hands on me.
What do I do? Tell me, what can I do?
First and goal for the Jets. Will this be their opportunity for a rushing touchdown? Won't get much better. McNeil and Baxter behind Nagel. It's Baxter, touchdown.
Untouched.
Jim Sweeney with a key block. And it's 9-0 Jets.
It's not supposed to be that easy on the goal line, Dick. I'm telling you, it's not supposed to be that easy. He was not touched by a Ram until he was in the end zone.
So nearly 3.5 games into the season, the Jets finally run one in. Bobrovsky adds the extra point, and with just under 4 minutes remaining in the opening half, the New York Jets, so very hungry for a win, lead it 10-0. His first touchdown of the season, capping the 68-yard drive. 3 minutes 44 seconds. The Rams have had the ball only 6:45 the whole half. Only the New Orleans Saints with a lower average time of possession than the Jets this year. Jets 27th in the league, but they dominated the first half in owning the pumpkin. The short kick taken by Scott Stevens. And he's to the 25-yard line as we go back to the blocking on that touchdown by Baxter.
Well, we'll give credit to Baxter for scoring, but a good double and rub here and an excellent lead block by the old master, Freeman McNeil. You don't expect him to be an excellent blocker, but he is. Baxter into the end zone 3 yards before a Ram lays a glove on him.
Larry Kelm, the recipient of Freeman McNeil's perfect block. There's the possession time as the Rams have scored only 7 points the first half all year. Now down 10-0. The out pass is good. First down at the 38-yard line. Henry Ellard doing the toe dance on the sidelines with his second catch.
Now this is when you're down 10-0, 3:41 to go in the first half, you've almost got to throw on every single down. And now it's very tough for the Los Angeles Rams and Everett to get done what they want to get done. He likes the completion. He, too, a very strong arm.
Ellard, who has led the Rams in receiving 8 consecutive years, approaching the 500 mark. Deeper this time, Ellard, and broken up, and a flag goes down. Mike Grimm was there too soon.
I think that's a good call, too. Side judge calls it. Grimm uses his right hand to wrap around the receiver as he comes around for coverage.
At the Jets' 43.
Pass interference, number 43, defense, automatic first down.
18-yard penalty.
We may be able to see the arm or not. The left arm around, right arm is around his waist. I think that was a good call.
They spotted at the 42-yard line. 3:21 left in the half. 10-0 New York. And around, it's Vernon Turner. Out of bounds at the Jets' 33. Brim and Washington there. And Chuck Knox is never known for that kind of play. He has very few in his books.
But that comes from Ernie Zampese. Now, Ernie's got a lot of those plays in his book. That's a good call, too. A reverse against a man-to-man coverage team is a play that can work big time. Actually, Jets defensive backs do a great job of keeping him with only a 9-yard gain.
Close enough for a measurement. Now, we were talking about Chuck Knox and being the offensive line coach for the Jets back in 2 of Joe Namath's years, 65 and 66. And some of the names that he worked with, you old-timers in New York, Sherman Plunkett and Winston Hill, Dave Herman, Sam DeLuca, John Schmidt, that offensive line.
That was a good bunch.
Helped build NFL history with that Super Bowl III win. Second and inches, and Cleveland Gary breaking tackles. And finally ripped down at the 27. First down.
That's what Cleveland Gary did when he was at the University of Miami. That's what they expected him to do in the NFL. Unfortunately, Cleveland Gary has not been able to hang on to the football. He gets through the arms of Gunn, 96. 43, Brim finally drags him down by the shirt. Gary is a very big running back, but he just can't hang on to the ball.
2.5 minutes left, first half. First down at the 27. Gary now with 17 yards rushing today. He's the deep back. Fake and around to Turner. Del Pino. Just missed connections. A pretty good-looking throw by Everett. James Hasty covering him man for man. And Hasty regarded as one of the better cornerbacks in the league, and the Jets promoting him for the Pro Bowl this year.
As a matter of fact, he told us last night he was going to be matched up with Flipper Anderson today. We've not seen that matchup. What they're trying to do is get him more involved in the game. They don't throw the ball in his area much.
Yeah, you don't get to call his name, Hasty from Washington State, because he does cover so well that most quarterbacks go the other way. On 2nd and 10. Wide open and a first down at the 15-yard line and a flag down as Jeff Chadwick, the veteran receiver from Grand Valley State. But this one may go against the offense.
Yeah, I think the running back turned up too soon.
That was Vernon Turner, who was in motion.
Let's see if they got him.
Yep. And that took away a big first down for the Rams inside the 15-yard line.
Chuck Knox knows that's why they've lost 12 of the last 13 games. Stupid things like that.
Offense. 2 men moving at the same time. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
I saw Turner turn up. Somebody else was moving, so you know, when things like that happen, you don't want to go into a film study with Chuck Knox after you lose. I mean, he just eats you alive.
Oh, yeah. You talk to the players, say, film does not lie, gentlemen. And Knox says, roll it.
Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Stadium, Dick Enberg with Bob Trumpy. Stay tuned. NFL Live with all the scores and highlights. And the news at the intermission. The Rams at their own 32 after the penalty. 2nd and 15. Out of the backfield, almost intercepted by, yes, James Hasty. Intended for Flipper Anderson, and the little flip from Jim Everett almost going to Hasty for a big score.
Now, this was the matchup we expected. James Hasty on Flipper Anderson. You see the crossing pattern, and that is so close. Chuck Knox told us yesterday, he said, I tell my receivers, if you're not going to catch it, make sure the other guy doesn't. Well, Flipper Anderson turned defender and made sure Hasty didn't score 6 on that one.
Anderson out to the right. Hot split left as the Rams go with 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 15. Everett. Crossfield wide open, and he can't hit Ellard. Oh, my. It was a scramble throw, but Ellard was 10 yards in the clear, and Everett couldn't find him.
Totally lost in the coverage is Ellard. Going out of your picture to the left, he'll come across. You can see that this is clearly overthrown, although Lonnie Young, 31 of the Jets, may have gotten in the way a little bit, but that's tough.
So Tony Zendejas will try a 49-yarder for a rare Ram score in the first half. Plenty of leg, and he's got it. Zendejas, who came into this season with 23 in a row, just one away from Kevin Butler's all-time record, then missed his first 3 tries this year. Hits a big one, almost from 50.
Excellent hold. Good follow-through. Keeps his head down. He knows the minute he hits it, it's good.
From the kicking Zendejas family. 3 cousins also playing in the NFL. It's a 10-3 game. Now Pizza NFL Live with all the scores and highlights coming up. Joe Namath, Broadway Joe, number 12, who played a year with the Rams, joins Bob Costas and Tang Simpson on the Domino Pizza Halftime Live Report. Joe kind of shredding off any thoughts of being a Ram. I was the Ram announcer when Namath moved out here late in his career, and those knees were pretty creaky in those days.
Speaking of that, you were also here when Chuck Knox was here.
All 5 of those years.
You see similarities or differences in Chuck Knox?
I heard every cliche in my 5 years doing the Coach Knox show. Are you kidding? Let the big dog hunt.
Yes, they were winning during those 5 years.
Oh, were they ever? 5 straight championships he provided Rams fans. He's a terrific one-on-one coach. Zendejas popping into this kickoff. Terrence Mathis inside the 5. And tackled at the 18-yard line by Sammy Lilly. Monday night, tomorrow on NBC. All-new comedy, Fresh Prince and Blossom Hour. Then it's an NBC world premiere movie, Fergie and Andrew, Behind the Palace Doors. Find out what the tabloids are talking about, what landed Fergie in hot water. All new and all on NBC Monday. It's come to that.
Doesn't take them long, does it?
That just happened. We already got a movie
Yes,
on it.
we
You
got
think we're not on the spot?
Absolutely.
See, time remaining, 1:38 in this first half as Nagel, with a 10-3 lead, throws it incomplete off Burkett's fingertips. He's 10 for 17, Browning Nagel, 111 yards in the half.
This team is going to have a lot of drop passes with this kid at quarterback. He spins the ball so much that that ball ricochets off receivers' hands, especially when you got to stretch forward a little bit. Receivers are going to have to get used to that.
Excellent point. On the plus side, Nagel's strength of arm, he's going to be able to go long. He's been able to throw that tough out cross field, but the negative is you better be ready for it.
Absolutely.
It's that fastball that'll skip right through your glove. 2nd and 10. Open is Burkett. Flag is down, and Burkett out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Kevin Green putting some pressure on Nagel, and he may have been held.
Offensive pass interference against the Jets.
Pass interference, number 85, offense.
Rob Moore away from the play, apparently pushing the defender. Stops the clock with 1:27 left in the half.
Running a little pick. You know, sometimes the officiating crew allows that. Sometimes they don't. You've got to be an actor out there if you're not the primary receiver. Coslett now with the hand signal into Browning Nagel. There's Rob Moore. One of the hardest working receivers the New York Jets have.
Grew up cheering for Al Toon, his role model. His home just a few miles from the Jets training camp. He played in Hempstead. Inside the 10 now, and the Jets, if they don't get a first down here, better chew up some time, or the Rams will have another opportunity before the intermission. Nagel hit and stays on his feet, and now goes down at the safety. Or is it a fumble? Freeman McNeil picks it up. They haven't whistled it dead, and McNeil gets to the 11-yard line.
That entire play stands.
Nagel apparently fumbled before he hit the ground, and that denied the Rams the safety, and McNeil was very alert in picking it up.
Wait a minute. Inside 2 minutes, you can't advance it. It's got to go back in the end zone. Recovery, it's got to be a safety on the New York Jets. New rule from 2 years ago. Inside 2 minutes, here comes Mark Bright.
He knows. Kevin Green and Mark Boutte were the men putting pressure on the quarterback Nagel, who almost was caught twice. Even Bruce Coslett looked surprised.
Fumble rule. The ball was fumbled in the last 2 minutes. It was recovered by someone other than the fumbler. The ball is returned to the spot of the fumble. It results in a safety.
Bob Trumpy, you were all over that one. Absolutely right on. It's as if you wrote it for Mark Bright.
Well, this is the result of the Los Angeles Raiders. Boutte hits him somehow. Nagel stays up. And then Green strips him of the football. And at that point, wherever it's recovered, it's got to stay there. It cannot be advanced. This is the Los Angeles Raiders rule. The Stabler, Vandensack, Casper touchdown against the San Diego Chargers.
And Green, with the safety, also gives the Rams an opportunity with 59 seconds on this ensuing free kick to get some more. Hey, they're really excited here in Southern California. 5 points in the half.
Again from behind, Kevin Green. Nagel has no idea he's there.
It was a heck of a play by Freeman McNeil.
Yeah.
Certainly no intent of Nagel to just let that ball free in your own end zone where it could have gone for 6, but the rule is the rule. So in 44 seconds, the Jets went a minus 19 yards. And Kevin Green giving the offense an opportunity now for a possible lead at the intermission. Green, who's playing inside linebacker, as we talked with him yesterday, kind of swallowed hard and saying, I'll do my job, but you have a feeling he wants to play. Last year they had him as a stand-up end. He had only 3 sacks after leading the Rams for 3 years with 16.5, 16.5, 13 as an outside backer and pass rusher. Now he's playing in a 4-3. Check that he had, and now he has 5 this year. So even playing as an outside linebacker, he's done all right. That's not what he wants to do. The free kick, and it goes out of bounds. Vernon Turner. So the Jets use the punt from Aguiar, and Los Angeles will start from the 32-yard line with 53 seconds to go. Green was a captain in the U.S. Army. He's qualified to command a tank unit of 12 to 16 tanks. And he has been a terror. And Bruce Coslett was most worried about that man, Green, when we talked about him yesterday. And Chuck Knox, that's about as animated as he'll get.
I got to score points somehow. Safeties, I guess, will do.
Everett. Incomplete. And, he led Ellard into a pile of contact, although Ellard didn't have to pay for it. Had that ball been catchable, he would have been hit by 2 Jets.
And I suppose if there is something that concerns people here in Southern California, it's that happening. Jim Everett just seems to miss those receivers by just ever so little. And they want a little more accuracy out of their starting quarterback. Not good numbers in the first half for Jim Everett.
4 wide receivers, 3 to the left side. And the throw to Aaron Cox, who steps out of bounds just shy of the first down at the 40-yard line. Mike Grimm on the coverage. Cox, who played at Arizona State, one of many first-round picks by the Rams. Remember, they had that whole peck full of first-rounders in that Eric Dickerson deal, and at the time we're playing winning football, and yet they really haven't come out with a lot of quality with all those picks.
Yeah, they picked pretty high because they had those picks from Indianapolis, you know. Really didn't get the studs that they were hoping for to last for the next 10, 12, 15 years.
They went from 11-5 in '89 to 5-11 and then 3-13 last year. Robert Delpino has a first down, and the Rams will spend a timeout with 40 seconds left in the half. Next week on NBC Sports, you fans watching us here from Anaheim Stadium will see one of these 2 games, Miami and Buffalo. The Dolphins 2-0. Of course, they missed the first game because of the hurricane against New England. And Buffalo very impressive again today at New England. And the Patriots had beaten the Bills 8 of the last 10 in Foxborough, but Buffalo won going away. And some of you will see Kansas City and Denver. And currently the Dolphins trailing up at Seattle 10-6.
Miami and Buffalo have played an awful lot of big games between those 2 teams in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, haven't they?
The Bills at this point look to be much the best in the AFC, don't they?
By far. Unfortunately, I think the Bills are judged by their 2 Super Bowl performances, not everything else.
As they say, it's the worst thing that can happen to a team to lose the last one in the Super Bowl. You're the last loser. Everett. But field, 50. And he dives down at the 40. A gain of about 14 yards. Officially 13. First down, and the second timeout leaves the Rams with 29 seconds.
Pressure by Bird flushed Jim Everett out of the pocket. Bird slow getting up. Looks like he's holding his shoulder. Everett to the sideline to talk to Ted Tonner, the quarterback coach. So there's Bird.
Yeah, they've lost Jeff Lageman, who was excellent all-around defensive lineman. Lageman gone for the year with knee surgery. Bird, who had 7 sacks last year, moved from defensive tackle out to defensive left end, and working on that.
They're looking at his shoulder, yeah. Up underneath those shoulder pads.
Bird from Mustang, Oklahoma, where they grow them tough.
Here's Bird out here. He's the down defensive lineman. Let's see if we can pick up what happens to him on this pass rush. They run a stunt to the outside. He gets hit, but that doesn't appear to do anything to his shoulder. Maybe when he lands and the thing on his elbow can force it out, but he gets up hurting.
And as Everett continues the run, he is the top rusher for the Rams today. There's Bird's numbers, and Hawking, the quarterback, none this year, and we'll see how serious that injury is. Everett has 22 yards on 2 scrambles. That leads the team in rushing this first half. 29 seconds left. Tipped and almost intercepted. The man with a hand on it was Marvin Washington, the defensive end, who was 10 yards upfield to bat it away.
They had 7 defensive backs in the ball game, and you see Pickell, 71, drops off. Washington drops off. They had 9 guys in coverage, 2 rushing the quarterback.
Boy, what do you call that defense?
That's $1.50. It starts nickel, dime. That's up to $1.50.
2nd and 10. Everett 4 for 12. Stelpino, smart enough to head to the sideline, saves the timeout. First down at the 29.
29 and 17, 46-yard field goal attempt. They're certainly in Zendejas' range, aren't they?
Well, the play of the half, without question, the freak rule safety.
Freak.
Well, in the intent of the rule was to stop the fake fumble and to advance the ball, and that certainly wasn't the case. And not to deny Kevin Green and the Rams defense a terrific play, but McNeil had saved the 2, it seemed. On first down with 18 seconds left in the half. Everett.
Throw it.
He didn't want to do that. Run the ball. And they have to use the final timeout with 9 seconds left. Paul Fraze. Eric McMillan was also in on that play.
Oh, goodness. You'd like to save that timeout for the field goal kicker.
Just throw it at the feet of someone, and here comes Pagel, the holder, number 14, with Zendejas for another 3.
You know, you'd expect Jim Everett not to make that mistake. The worst thing he can do is take that last time out, run down the field there, and eat up some time. Just heave it. You don't need a completion. You don't want to lose yards or your valuable timeout.
Well, Zendejas has nailed one from 49 yards. Actually, it was closer to 50, officially 49, and this one will be about 44, maybe 45. Well, both teams, by their own mutual announcement, have not been offensive this year, and they certainly have not been this first half, although the Jets have moved the ball well. Only 1 touchdown in the half, and this one to make it a 10-8 game. 45 yards. Plenty of legs. He booms it, and it hits the upright. No good. Boy, that was a cannon shot.
He nailed that one. Hit it right on the sweet spot. Good snap. Pagel the holder. Blair Bush is the snapper, probably the best long snapper in the history of the NFL. The ball just never hooks in there. And how does it hit that thing so square? I can't believe how many times that happens in the NFL. He thought he made it because he normally hooks it a little bit. No, it stayed straight. Get out of here. This is my own stadium. It's supposed to go in.
So Kevin Green, blocking number 91, gets 2 points, but not 5 from his safety, and the Jets run it out on the final play of the half, and so ends an unusual half of football at Anaheim Stadium. Jets looking for their first win, and they present a score that will get the attention of everyone. 10-5. Dime store stuff, and we'll be back after a message from the NFL and a word from your local station.